There we go. Alright. Timestamp. It's waiting for my phone timer to start. Where are we? August 21st, 2025. It is about 2:30 a.m. I just got up a little while ago. Catching up on some eBay stuffs. Had a couple questions about some items. And I got somebody making an offer on something. They're really lowballing me, but I'll try and work a deal with them. Health check, I feel pretty good. I've been attempting to do more cardio activities as far as lung strengthening and all that. And I did something yesterday which... Okay, so I'm trying to keep it... I've been smoking about 2 cigars a day, sometimes 3, because lately things have been kind of, because of my dad. Exactly. And I really need to drop that down. So I bought a pack of smokes yesterday. I smoked with cigarillos. For those that don't know, I got diagnosed with emphysema last year. And I'm probably in the mild, moderate category, but it's a progressive disease. So the idea is I need to quit smoking so that I don't go from mild to moderate to severe to very severe, in 2 or 3 or 5 years. Because that's kind of when that death thing starts knocking on the door. I've read a lot about it. I don't really care to try it. It's the last thing I want to do. So, what I'm doing is I'm making Tiny, who is my kid, for those that, because I'm noticing a lot of new viewers and whatnot. There's a lot of catching up. You can check out my other videos to try and catch up with the world of Marcus Wolking. It's been a wild year, 2 years. So I bought a pack of smokes last night, and I gave it to my kid. And I said I'm allowed to have 1 cigar, basically, at midnight. And Tiny was like, I'm confused. I'm like, I need you to hold me accountable by rationing to me. Because if I have it, at my fingertips, it's a little hard for me to not go, I'm feeling a little twitchy. I could take a couple of hits off of that one and it'd be alright. I mean, trying to keep myself in check. So we're going to give that a shot, and hopefully I don't... Hopefully lives will be saved. If you've ever attempted to quit smoking or get out of an addiction, you know the twitchiness that can happen. And I'm going to try not to be incredibly ornery. But we're kind of going for the win here, because I need to, and I know. So keeping myself busy around here, because God knows that's not an issue. I just got up and I got to pull dishes out of the dishwasher, put a new batch in, got laundry to cycle, working on the living room project. I did unpack. And this makes me a little sad, but it's okay in the grand scheme of things, minor. And I'm going to get more, because they're cool. I'm a coffee mug and or coffee junkie. If you've been watching for a while, you figured that out. So I had ordered some mugs a while back, right before everything happened, and I hadn't even unpacked them to check them. eBay purchases and whatnot. And this is the part where I'm a little sad. I got Pix brought over some of the boxes that were at at George to here. Finally. I've been asking her, can you start bringing some of the boxes that I've got, please? Because she's been rushing so much to get here sometimes that she doesn't actually load anything, and I want to be able to start trying to go through everything. Which, the idea of going through everything we own, they own, this is part of that 2-year purgatory period. But anyway, one of the boxes she brought over was a box of 4 mugs that I had bought on eBay. And they are some of the Looney Tunes, that's not going to work without my fingers coming off, sports mugs. So, got my Bugs Bunny playing baseball. This part makes me sad. Yeah, we'll go on a walk real quick. I gotta be careful saying that word, because Scrappy might misinterpret that. I have a jinx in the way. There we go. So this is some of the... I've kind of commandeered one of the little pieces of furniture that my parents have. My parents have so much wood furniture. This place is one of those places, if you've ever been to a friend's house, or maybe you have this kind of situation, where every room seems to have 1.5 times the amount of furniture that really should be in that room. That's the situation. But I kind of commandeered, and I've just got it thrown up here right now. It's not even like organized yet. One of the smaller hutch? I'm not even sure what to call it really. I've got this going on over here with some of my toys. Hey, my Y-Wing obsession. But yeah, there it is. So there was a Taz playing football mug, and this is the part that makes me sad. You can see the handle, or what's left of it. That's that Daffy Duck one that got broken, or that was broken. I bought it broken, but I can use it for a display, and I'll use this for display too. Just turn it so that you can't see the broken handle part. But that makes me sad because I ordered that. Probably 4 months ago, 5 months ago. And my point there is, it probably broke in shipping. And because I didn't open it, because my whole world went sideways, I didn't realize that it had gotten broken. And I'm not gonna... I can get another one for like $5 or $10. So, am I bummed about that? Yeah, but it'll be okay. The other, it was a set of 4. Used, they're from 90 something? 94. It also came with this is one of the reasons that I was like, yeah, about the set. Because when I opened it, I'm like, oh, I remember buying this. It has a Yosemite Sam with basketballs on it, which, okay, I'm a Looney Tunes fan. They never do any merchandise with Yosemite Sam. They don't. You know what I mean? It's like Foghorn Leghorn. They never do anything merchandise with him. Yeah, I know they do some things with him, and I'm a huge Bugs and Marvin fan. I can always find Bugs and Marvin stuff. But I like the other characters too. You know, Pepe Le Pew. There's a bunch of characters that you very rarely see merch. So I have a Yosemite Sam mug. I'm happy about that. And also, there is a Daffy Duck. Why am I keep saying that? Daffy Duck. It's all the aneurysms I've had. I don't know. There is a Daffy Duck mug with a golfing motif. And these have already been through the dishwasher. I did it in secrecy. And I put the Daffy mug in my kids' cabinet. And they haven't seen it yet. Janus is looking good. I mean, Scar is still Frankenstein ugly from hell, but I'm encouraged because he's really moving around and seems to be getting the hang of the whole 3 legs thing. So this is where my wife and Tiny have their coffee and tea mugs. So there's the Daffy one. Hopefully I'm getting it on there. I can't see the screen and that. But Tiny has a thing for railroads, so I found some actual like railroad company mugs and whatnot. And also, alright, I'm not a big fan of J.K. Rowling and her politics, but I'm still a big fan of the Harry Potter series. The whole family is. And Tiny absolutely identifies strongly as Hufflepuff. So, I've been watching them on Amazon. I've had them in my saved for later forever. They've got, some good size, like 15-ounce Harry Potter mugs on Amazon. They're usually like $10 to $12, which honestly I like paying $5 for them. I don't like paying $10 for them. But they actually had a special a couple months ago, right when we first started like trying to get Leonardo under control here. Like second week, all the prices dropped to like $5. They ran like a $5 special. It was like towards the end of May. They of course didn't have Gryffindor or Ravenclaw. They were sold out, unavailable, which made me very sad. I'm okay. I got a hug, I'm fine. But they did have Slytherin, which is one of the houses that my wife identifies with. I think it's just because she thinks, being it makes her edgy, humor her. Because honestly, I think she's more of a Ravenclaw. But I test Gryffindor I've taken the test like 4 times, the various, house placement tests. And 3 times I tested Gryffindor, 1 time I tested Ravenclaw. So basically, I'm a Gryffindor who isn't afraid of a book. Which, that's pretty fair representation. I'm kind of a dork, but I'll kick in a door if I need to. And I'm actually pretty good with a sword. Oh, that's a good joke. But, because I'm trying to keep with the personal hell that we're all going through right now, as accidentally defined by my parents. I'm trying to keep everybody's spirits up where I can. So, and with the $5 special thing, I'm like, that's just too good to not take advantage of. I actually got 2 of the Slytherin and 2 of the Hufflepuff mugs for them. Yes, I did. But my wife has put down the mandate of only getting her 15-ounce mugs from this point forward. She doesn't like the smaller ones. She does tea. She's a tea hound. And she said she's able to do more and better with 15-ounce. Don't even get her 11-ounce anymore. So it does narrow the field of what I can get. But those Harry Potter ones are 15-ounce, which is cool. And I continue to watch the Gryffindor and the Ravenclaw ones to see if they go on special like that again. So far, no. Last time I looked, they were back in stock, but they were back up to like $12, $14. And I just can't. I can't. I'm not cheap, but I'm thrifty. But, got in my Walmart order last night. I just pulled out one of the packs of drumsticks because I didn't do it last night. I took care of Janus and I bedded down. I'd been up my 16 hours and doing stuff the whole time. So I got some drumsticks over there, and I've got a pack of thighs that was in the fridge. I didn't freeze that because I figured that'd be a nightmare to try and thaw and then cut. I'm going to cut those, and I'm going to make some of those like meal bags that I was talking about. Like 4 or 5 drumsticks in one, a big chunk of like chopped up thigh meat and whatnot, so that I can do stuff for me and Tiny that, you know, I need to marinate something. Well, I've already got a bag set with stuff that I'll eat, stuff that they'll eat. We both win, you know. Got plans. Working on the living room, continuing to plug away at that, make progress. One of the other boxes my girl brought here, is, I can't talk. I just can't. Because of Daffy Doug. I don't even know what. It's Daffy, Doug. Doug Daffy. I went to high school with him. Descended from some baseball players. Very, very good, actually. Cousin of the Deans. So, one of the things that she brought was a box of autographed photos that I had framed, that I framed. I didn't have them framed by a service or whatnot, but I think some of them are ones that we had hanging in the shop. I'm gonna have to look. Now that I'm talking about it, I'm curious. Oh dear God. I may take a back pill here in a few, because my spine is definitely wondering exactly what I was trying to think about here. Okay, I haven't even looked at this yet. What be you be? Is it? Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, some of these, man, these are dirty. I gotta clean these. But yeah, I've got. I had a bunch of autographs hanging up at the shack. Oh wow. Wow, 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 wow. Piece of personal history here. This is a poster from the very beginning when we were starting to do our improv shows at our shop. Wow, wow, wow. I miss doing that stuff. And now it won't go back in the box. Ooh, physics. Alright. Yeah, I'll figure that out in a bit. But I need to get those in a more secure box and clean them up. Even if I'm hanging them, they're just gross. I need to fix that. Because that will bother me. But yeah, and again, if you don't know me, I am, to recap, my dad has dementia, moderate going into severe, got him in a home. The last words he said to me on the phone were a couple days ago, which were, "You're no son of mine." That's nice, because I won't bring him home. The problem is he's actually dangerous. He goes through paranoid delusions, he hallucinates. It's all fun and games. My mom was, it would seem, also having cognitive decline issues, but her health took her out in May. And to really go back in February of 2023, I walked away from a full-time job that was paying me pretty good and was about to start paying me a lot better, because stuff and things were in the works. I was making 40 or 50 a year, and I was probably looking at going into the 100 bracket. There were promotion talks, but I walked away from that because my mom was in the hospital and had been in the hospital, and Dad was starting to visibly show shines. Do a Bogart impression now? He was showing signs that he might have be having some problems. But yeah, the cognitive decline was becoming a lot more noticeable without my mom hiding it, because she was in the hospital and couldn't. And my wife and I learned a lot about, oh God, my dad's in a really bad place, because she had done a really good job of concealing it from the world. So we came and helped Mom in the hospital and Dad here. And then in August, I got a door slammed in my face because we had broken in over the weekend and robbed the place. Except that never actually happened. So we spent about 1.5 to 2 years just topsy-turvy land. That's a really quick version. So now everything went sideways with my parents. I went to court to get guardianship of my dad, which is not something I ever thought that I would even consider pursuing. I'm legally, technically, my dad's dad, basically, which, again, not something I thought that I would ever need to do, much less pursue and do. So that happened, and we are attempting to fix the world that they slowly were destroying. They've got a fairly nice house-ish. It's got a tremendous amount of problems because my dad is a brilliant engineer, but for the past 10 plus years has been starting to decline heavily with dementia. And a lot of things, there's things here that are, he added on to the house and built tunnels and alcoves and secret hidey holes and all kinds of extra rooms and stuff. It's been kind of radical. But he also was changing locks on doors every day and burning them off with a torch because the burglar took the keys when in fact he lost the keys, and because of dementia. But there's stuff hidden, stuff missing, stuff broken. We dealt with DCF earlier this year. They were coming down on my parents because there's stuff that needed to get done, and it wasn't getting done because Mom was in the hospital and Dad was far enough gone to where he couldn't really... Complex problem solving is one of the first things to really start to show effect. So, brilliant engineer, but he can't follow a five-step plan. He'll get step 1, and then he'll get lost somewhere in step 2 and never complete the task. So there's a lot of things. You think about all the things you might need to do as far as upkeeping a property. If there are 4 and 5 step things, imagine them getting to step 2 and stopping. That's where we're picking up in the story. There's a bed bug situation here, which, that's awesome. I've got a lanai ceiling that has been ripped out of the wall by Hurricane Milton, which, if you're in Florida or are familiar with the hurricane history and whatnot, yes, that was last year. We're in hurricane season again. Looks like Erin is going to be going up the coast and not hitting anybody, which, glory to God, because it looked like she was 4. That'll hurt somebody. So, yeah, please, go in the ocean and play there, where you can't hurt anyone. But we are sweating bullets, the idea that if a hurricane does come... We're in Pasco County, which is kind of central west coast of Florida, a little bit north of Tampa. If we do get a hit of something significant, the lanai is going to be a terrifying adventure. My parents have been hoarding pretty much their whole lives, so I've got rooms that aren't really rooms so much as warehouses of the bizarre. Some of the stuff in there is valuable, some of it's junk. Um, so that's what I mean by the 2 year thing. Is it's going to take us at least a year. We've already been here 2 months. It's going to take us at least a year, probably into 2 years, to actually fix everything. Yay. And we're trying to maintain a positive attitude while we sally forth in said goals. Because legally I'm now beholden to my dad for both person and property, so I've got to be the caretaker of it legally. And two, that was actually one of the things that my mom and I, this is real, like, cutting to the bone here. 2 years ago, my mom, I could tell she was having problems, but she was also having very, very lucid, practical moments. We had a couple of long discussions. I'm like, look, if I'm walking away from this job, I gotta have some security knowing that I'm not gonna wind up, coming out the other side penniless. Because I'm about to drop everything, to come to your rescue. I gotta know that you got my back, and not with a blade. And basically, I'm the beneficiary for everything. But I can't claim it because my dad's still alive. That does not mean that I'm planning on doing something about that. I'm in no rush. I don't want to lose my dad. But my mom told me, she's like, look, when I pass, sell things, keep everything moving forward. Please don't do that until I'm gone. But after I'm gone, make sure Dad's taken care of and do what you need to do. That was kind of my last orders, That's keeping it real with you. And if you did just tune in, yes, if you saw in the background, there are 2 arcade games here in the dining room currently. I'm sitting at the bar at my parents' house. My mom put a little bit of money back for me, and I had a little bit of money coming into this. And this is actually still missing. My mom had some money that she had set aside for me, and I still haven't found it, full disclosure. I don't know if Dad found it and spent it, or if one of the people helping my dad found it and stole it. I don't even know, so I'm not counting on it at this point. But she had asked me, because she said, I'm going to have this money set aside for you. She's like, I want you to spend it on you. Do what have you always wanted to buy but never could? And I said, honestly, this is going to sound stupid, but I've always wanted some pinball machines. And she was like, buy 100 pinball machines with this. I'm like, okay, this is not small change that you're talking about, but I can't buy 100 pinballs with that. And she's like, well, how many can you buy? I'm like, I could buy a few. And she's like, great, buy a few. She's like, just start taking care of you, enjoying your life. Because I've spent a lot of my time, and I think this is the story for most guys, most husbands, whatnot, most of my time working to try and take care of everybody else, And I need to work on my work-life balance. I've been lectured about that a lot by people that care about me. So when all this happened, I had some money saved up, and I bought a couple of arcade games. I got really good deals on them. I didn't spend huge amounts of money. They weren't, $120. They each cost me about $1,000, but I got a couple of arcade games that are favorites of mine from my teenage 20s. Now, because we're accelerating our e-sales, and we're about to start doing garage sales, which will help because I have to keep the money separated. My parents' money, my money. But I've got a lot of eBay stuff because we ran a shop for 9 years. I've got a lot of product to sell. and we're trying to up our game there. And if I'm able to up my game to the point where I get a couple of really good sales in there, I'm buying a gauntlet machine. That's going to be my third acquisition. I can get it a lot cheaper than I can at pinball. I'm going to wait on pinball because that's even the cheap ones that I want are like 4,000 and 5,000. So we'll wait on that a minute. But yeah, so that's pretty good recap. That gives you a little bit better idea of who the hell is talking at you right now. But I'm doing these check-ins, number one, for my own sanity, and number two, because with the emphysema diagnosis, bringing the story back around, I was looking for emotional support when I first got diagnosed, and I looked up a whole lot of YouTube people that had been diagnosed with various lung disorders and whatnot, pulmonary fibrosis, COPD, all the different things that are out there. And most of the ones that have emphysema, COPD, the videos went to a certain point and then like abruptly stopped. So I'm sitting back going, okay, well, did you die? You didn't seem like you were in that bad a shape. What happened? So I said, you know what, I'm going to start my own. And plus the stuff with my parents, there's a lot to chronicle there. Could be of interest to someone. I'm just giving you my life kind of uncensored for the most part. But I'm going to display the emphysema journey in case someone else is out there going, what do I have to expect? What do I do? Quit smoking and exercise, lungs and heart, and adjust your diet to eliminate a lot of the junk and try and get a lot of antioxidants into your diet. I just had some Greek yogurt with blueberries, and it was very good. And there's a lot more you can do. Look it up online, but those are some of the basic things that I've implemented and or am attempting to implement. The quitting smoking part, that's the big monkey on my back right now. But I know I gotta do it. So, because the life I saved is my own on that one. But anyway, I've gone a lot longer than I was planning on going. Time-wise, not life-wise. I plan on keep doing that. I want to keep doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and call it here. Yeah, we're going to do that. Yeah. I'm good. Get to work. God knows I've got it. Make it a great day.